Welcome back to the boat farm, and Project Planetree will just have to wait another day. I've been mowing grass all morning, so I am totally overheated. And so I'm going to spend the day cleaning the shop and replenishing some of my supplies and call it a day. Because it is about 100 degrees and humidity is terrible. But it occurred to me that I've never talked about one of my better little successes, and that was making my own penetrating oil. And this is, there's products like WD-40 and PB Blaster, and these are all good things. I mean, this isn't meant to replace these. I mean, the product we're going to make today, I wouldn't use it to take bug tar off my car because it'd probably take the paint off with it. But there's a lot this won't do, and I need something, something that does everything, does nothing well. And what I mean well is that, I guess for squeaky, it talks about on the back of squeaky hinges and wheels and rollers and chains. I don't do much of any of that. What I do is I have to lubricate my tools. As you can see, the shine on this table, I have to clean the table and put something on it so it doesn't rust up. And I need something that, see how I get my hands all over it, but I don't get oil all over my hands. This would leave oil that would be with you for a while. The distillate would evaporate quick, but it would leave an oily surface, and also then dust would light all over it, and then it would really be a mess. This that's a clean rag too. I mean, this has been out here for a while, so it does a fine job. This product that I'm making now for myself, and I need something that works good in pneumatic tools and can be used as a cutting fluid at the mill and at the drill press and stuff like that. This would not do well for that. This would not do well for that. These two would be excellent at it, but also you wouldn't want to run these in pneumatic tools. And so anyway, I needed something that would fit mine. So I talked a little bit about what are the components that makes up WD-40 or any penetrating oil, and how you can make these components yourself. So the first thing you have is you have the oil component. And that right there is things like, you can do some research on how to make your own penetrating oil, and inherently everybody will say acetone and transmission fluid, and you have great penetrating fluid. But rusty bolts and stuff, I need more than that. I need something that'll stick around but also not get all over me. And I need something that lubricates I can use in my pneumatic tools. So I add oil to it as well. So the oil, the reason why, so let's just go back through each one of them. Oil in the home version, the DIY version of penetrating fluid that you would make, you want to use an oil that has a great additive package with it, that has if you've ever taken apart a transmission, you see how clean it is inside of it, and there's no sticky oil all over components, and there couldn't be, because if it did, the check valves and all the stuff that's in an automatic transmission would then go bad. So this has a fantastic additive package. The oil, I have 10 W40 here. 30 weight would be the premium, but I'll explain why I'm using this in just a moment. You do want to add just a little bit of regular oil, because you're using something for like pneumatic tools. You just want straight oil. Vegetable oil, or a vegetable-based oil. Now that's why this table is like it is. That's why it's got to shine, and it's not greasy. It's because a little bit of this causes the oil and the other components, it works with them to emulsify and makes it stick to surfaces, to where if you've ever seen your kitchen around the stove, you get this grease, unfortunately, it's hard to clean off. Well, that's because of the vegetable. You can thank the vegetable oil for that. So we'll add a little bit of that to make it stick. It's kind of a sticky component. Acetone, mineral spirits, and paint thinners. A lot of folks will talk about adding those, and typically it's acetone. All that is a carrier. You want something that will carry the oil deep down. If you've got a rusty bolt, it'll carry the oil down there, then flash off and evaporate away and leave the oil behind. Well, that's why they use acetone. That's the only reason. But the downside to acetone is if I use it, some of my pneumatic tools have rubber O-rings in them, and if I use just straight acetone, I can use a little, But if you use just straight acetone, over time it's probably going to degrade those O-rings. So mineral spirits is probably the second best thing. You could use a paint thinner. The problem with paint thinner is typically it's like mineral spirits with a mixture of acetone in it. You need to know what those ratios are. There's nothing wrong with using it, just make sure you know. Paint thinner is a pretty general term. Paint thinner, think about it. I mean, it could be anything. It could be water within paint, water-based paint, latex paint. So think about, read what the contents are before you use it. I'll use this, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So again, these are what we're replacing. There is no I've never been able to make a DIY version that beats out Tap Magic. These guys got it made when they figured out how to do it. Nor do I want to. I don't do enough tapping and cutting of metal to where it's better just to buy it and use it for a specific purpose. These here, I think we can replace them. Still keep it in the shop because you never know, maybe tar on the car or something I want to get off, and I may need these. But I will tell you, since I started doing this, I will reach for this 10 to 1. I haven't touched this can, and that's been a year now, and I haven't touched it since. Again, just because I hadn't had the niche need for it. Now, this is what I typically, once I make the home version of it, I will put it in just a regular spray bottle like this. And I WD-42 is what I put on there, just to identify it. There may be a WD-42, I don't know. I just wanted somebody to identify it. And I put it in a Nigel container. And this is kind of handy for like, for doing the tools, for squirting inside of my tools. Use this at the lathe and places like that. I didn't really like this container. After using just a regular spray bottle, 90% of everything I do is with this spray bottle, because you've got the advantage of being able to choose exactly how you want to spray it. I don't use it. You can buy aerosol cans that you can pump up with your compressor to spray. It's a waste. This does a fine job, and you got this handy hook that you can. I hooked these things all over the shop. I don't like going hunting for a can. And then this is what we'll mix in, and I write with a paint marker what the ingredients is. And I don't put how many cups. I mean, I did for the purpose of this video. I put 3 cups of olive oil, which equates to about 30% of this gas. I say about because it's rounded off. 5 cups of transmission, and then 2 cups of motor oil, and then 1 cup of acetone, and then the balance of the container will be filled up with mineral spirits. Yeah, you need a can like this. This used to be this. I saved the can and peeled the label off of it. The acetone leaked the label off too, so don't worry about how you get that label off. But I'll mix it up into this, and then throughout the year, and I've used in this project, I've been working on it now for about 18 months now, and I've used a gallon of it. So let's talk about cost. If you mix, if you bought this is going to cost you, I think I have that written down over there. Yeah, this is 75 cents an ounce. Yeah, that's incredibly, actually it may be more than that now, because I think that's what I paid for it, but a while back, it's 8 ounces. It was more than that. So it's between 75 cents to $1 an ounce. As much oil as I use for that, it would cost at least $100 just in this. And my DIY version, this is costing me about $17 an ounce if I bought everything. Now that's why I said we'll get back to this and why these look like they do. Look how filthy that container is. This is something I had in the shed at the house. I don't know how old it is. I would never put that in my car. It's kind of suspect, but it's fine for this. So that, to me, I would have normally had to throw that in the landfill, and no, I didn't. I didn't have to throw it away. I'm going to use it in this project and recoup the cost and and the same thing true with this one. Look at this one. It's old. I don't know where, And then the same was actually true with this. And I talked about dropping off the landfill. If you live in an area like in South Carolina, we have drop-off centers, and you can drop off things like this at the drop-off, and it's free for people to come in and look and pick out containers if they want them. And that's where I got this from. And so this was free, this was free, and this was free. And believe it or not, this was free. This is out of date, and I got it free. But you can also, go to places like thrift stores and stuff like that and pick things like this up for pennies on the dollar. So it would cost you about $17 worth of materials if you bought all your stuff to make this gallon. And it sounds high until if I bought, again, it would be, that's real expensive, but you can buy WD-40 in a gallon and it's $35 a gallon. And again, it'd be $35 a gallon for something that doesn't work well for what I need. So you customize these components and you alter them to fit your need. You may want something that's specially for breaking loose bolts and stuff. So you'll add more acetone, you'll increase the acetone component, and you'll decrease the oil, and you probably won't use very much of this, even though this has been proven to be a pretty decent penetrating oil. And I show olive oil, but any vegetable-based oil, and this is a blend. This is canola and olive oil. But canola oil works really good and it's cheap. I think it's 7 cents an ounce. And then last but not least is identity. It's a red liquid. My label's coming off. Oh, so that's actually holding up pretty good. It rubbed off of this. I wrote it again before I filmed this, but it was written there. That's rubbed off. And it rubs off. I think some things identify. This I never could get it to stick to that. No identity, but I can see the red liquid. And the biggest form of identity is this. I add cinnamon oil to it. That's not a luxury thing. People think, well, why do you want your penetrating oil to smell good? But they all do it. If you ever smell Tap Magic, they put cinnamon in it. I can tell you, you can smell it. They do it so you know what it is. If I'm in my boat and I start smelling a cinnamon smell, I know I've tripped over. I'll probably turn this thing over and it's spilling to go do something. Or if I find a puddle of something on the floor, I can smell it quickly and tell what it is. I don't have to, there's no mystery to it. It doesn't cost hardly anything. I buy the stuff off the line. It's an essential oil. Yeah, it's part of my penetrating oil. So let's mix up a gallon of it. I'm not gonna record me mixing it, put it in. You see it basically this, and if you look at the screen up here, you'll see the there's the formula. Mix it yourself and change these parts the way you want it. And again, look at this table. This table is proof. I sprayed this, I don't know how long ago I sprayed it. Look how nice and shiny it is. And it's not rusty, it's not real red rust all over it, and it doesn't get all over my hands. My hands are well, hands are kind of dirty because I touch everything else too, but it doesn't get greasy. That's important in a shop. All right, well, thanks again for joining a short episode this time. I just wanted to share with you this little find and what a great thing it is to make a gallon. Oh, one last thing about this. It's little things like this that adds up. If you're paying $95 a gallon for WD-40, instead you're paying $17, the difference is how I can afford to go from wood to stainless steel on something. I'll put that money that I save on things that doesn't add true value to my boat. Put the money where the value's at, not in things like this. I want something that works well, and I don't want other people to know what kind of. I don't need to know what I'm using WD-40. It has no value to anybody. But when people see the shiny stainless, they say, "Hey, how'd you do that?" It's kind of cool. All right, thanks for joining us, and let's get to work.